All right, boys and girls, we're back. One and only Bob. We're on page 272. Last thing we heard, Bob was in the cage talking to his sister, confessing his feelings for Snickers. All right, An Interesting Life is the title. An awful noise comes, like a tree trunk splitting in two. While we watch in disbelief, a piece of the roof, the size of a Great Dane, simply vanishes. Rain gushes through the hole in torrents. Boss, I say, it's time. Jump on my back. And that's a good idea because why exactly? Because maybe you'll get your turn, I say. Your chance to have things your way. I've had an interesting life. I want you to have one too. Bob, at best you're buying me a couple extra minutes, boss says. Sis, I'm like 30 seconds older than you. You're not the boss of me. Please. Why? Just because you're a guy? I could take you down in a second with 3 paws tied behind my back. And if you get out of here and I don't, I continue, ignoring her, there's a place I want you to go. Sit on the front porch. Wait for the humans who live there. Who are you kidding, Bob? We're both about to die. 3 blocks up, 4 houses down on the left. Look for a big oak tree. Guy named Nutwit lives there. Nutwit? She's suppressing a smile. Say it, I command. Fine, whatever. 3 blocks up, 4 houses down. Nutwit. We go back and forth like that, arguing, bantering, trying not to hear the terror of our cage mates. And I think maybe I'm starting to hallucinate a little. I'm starving and freezing and I feel kind of dizzy. All the smells and sounds are mingling together, and crazy as it seems, I actually think I catch a whiff of Ivan. Well, that's kind of cool, I think. At least I'll be remembering my best buddy when I die. There are worse ways to go. Title, Hey. The water laps at my mouth, foul-tasting and frigid. Now, I say to my sister, get on my back now. I'm saving you whether you like it or not. Something in my choked voice scares her, I guess, because she leaps right onto my back with a horrified yelp. I blink back muddy water. A silver presence looms before me. Still, I'm not entirely sure it's him until I get a real big old whiff of banana. Hey, Bob, says Ivan. Title, Giant Monkey and Sea Monster. The screeches of terror are ear-splitting, and my poor ears have endured plenty by this point. Folks, I cry, relax, he's here to save us. Monkey, screams the orange cat. Giant monkey! I beg your pardon, says Ivan. The bunny cowers in the corner of her cage. If King Kong is here to eat us, I'd rather drown. Sea serpent, screams the beagle. An arced gray trunk glides past. Ruby, I exclaim. She's just tall enough to keep her head above water. Ivan, Ruby! Snickers calls in a delighted voice. Over here, dears. Long time no see. Hey, Snickers, Ruby says. Snickers wags her drenched tail puff. My, how have you grown, sweetie? Excuse me, says Gray Muzzle, but maybe the happy reunion could wait until we're, not underwater. Ivan taps his chin. He's always slow, always deliberate. I like that about the guy, except when I'm about to drown. We need to get all of you to higher ground, he says, at last, but the current's tough to fight, even for Ruby and me. There's always the roof, I say, but it's damaged. Ivan nods. Seems there's a tree on it. Look, Uncle Bob, Ruby says, paddling back and forth. I'm an Ella mermaid. Kid always makes me smile. Good work, Ruby. I've got an idea, says Ivan. It'll take multiple trips, so I'm going to start with the smallest creatures and work from there. My sister gazes down at me from her perch on my back. You actually know this, Ape? He's my best pal, Ivan. Ivan and I go way back. A long pause follows. Bob, Boss finally says, you weren't kidding. You really have had an interesting life. Title, To Safety. One thing about being a silverback, the strength of 8 men thing can come in handy. Ivan starts with a bunny and the dachshund, one in each arm, along with 2 cats perched on his shoulder and head. One more trip, this time with the beagle and Snickers, and then Boss and me are on our way. Ruby holds tight to Gray Muzzle's collar and manages to paddle alongside of her, using Ruby as a ballast. It takes us a while to cross the street. The current's swift, and the water's up to Ruby's neck in places. Ivan, I asked as we approached the other side, did they find George and Julia? They're okay. A little banged up, but fine. They made it to safety to the keeper's shed. Tree fell and blocked the door. I choked back a soft sob of relief. George was out looking for you when Ruby and I left. How did you find me? Ruby saw which way you were running, says Ivan. And don't forget that the gorillas and elephants have great noses, Bob. Maybe not dog level, but not bad. We followed your stink, Uncle Bob, Ruby exclaims. When we reach the far side, I see where Ivan has deposited our fellow inmates, the parking lot of the donut shop. The lights inside are off, like everywhere else, but I glimpse a few flickering candles and people are milling about. Come on, everybody, Ivan calls. Let's get you inside. I'm hoping these folks won't mind a bit of company. As we gather at the entrance, Boz pauses. I'm going to head out, she says, avoiding my gaze. What? I demand. I just found you. You can't leave now. She hesitates. The puppy. Thought maybe I'd check. I mean, I know he's probably gone. She looks at the muddy pavement. It's crazy, I know. Yes, I say firmly. It is crazy. Besides, you're too weak, and your paw's injured. My voice grows urgent. Think about it, boss. What are the odds? He stayed in that car and waited for you. Who knows where he is by now? Yeah, she looks defeated. I suppose you're right. What's wrong, Bob? Ivan asks. My sister. Whoa, wait, this is your sister, Uncle Bob? Ruby interrupts, turning to Boss. Then that means you're my aunt. Boss has a puppy, I explain, stuck in a car near a bridge. I point with my nose. Ivan doesn't know his way around town the way I do. That way, not far. She wants to try to find him, but, well, he's probably gone by now. I know my words are harsh, but I'm trying to protect Boss. No way that puppy's still alive. Ivan strokes his chin. Why don't we get everyone and settle inside, he suggests. Then we can figure this out. Never mind, Boss says. Bob's right. It's nuts. Way too dangerous, and probably too late anyway. She takes a deep breath. He's not exactly the first pup I've lost. You'd think I'd be used to this by now, wouldn't you? I don't know what to say. I want to make her pain go away, but what can I do? I'm no bigger than Boss is, and certainly no smarter, and I got my own problems. My busted nose, my aching foot, my angry stomach. Look out for numero uno. That's my motto, for a reason. It's kept me alive this long. Title, Then to My Surprise. Some fool blurts, I'll go find him, and apparently it's me. Title, Yay. We'll go, Ivan says. Yay, more swimming, Ruby cries. It's not safe, Ruby, I say. You have to stay here. I promised Akello I'd watch out for you. I made it this far, she says, donning her elephant pout face. Ivan and I sigh. It's exhausting, all this responsibility, this worry, this love. Promise to stay close, I ask. She holds up her trunk. Elephant's honor. Because Akello will make dog soup out of me if anything happens to you. Yuck, Ruby giggles. How did you know I can almost do a somersault in... Hey, did you know I can almost do a somersault in the water, Uncle Bob? Ivan taps politely on the door of the donut shop, but even a polite knock from a gorilla sounds like a visit from a wrecking ball. The door opens a crack. I think 2 or 3 people may have fainted, but we can't stay to find out. I hop onto Ivan's shoulder, and the 3 of us head off. I glance behind me to see Boss standing on the pavement watching us. In the darkness and rain, I can't read her eyes, but I'd like to think there's hope in them. Title, Traffic Stop. We slog up a slight hill around a corner. The traffic lights are out and nobody seems to be on the streets. That is, until we cut through a stand of palm trees and come across some police officers in a slow-moving squad car. It's blue and red lights circling. Attention, one of the officers announced over the loudspeaker. This area is under mandatory evacuation order. Do not. The announcement stops, and so does the car. Uh-oh, says Ruby. I think they spotted us, I say. We're kind of hard to miss, Ivan points out. The car moves closer. So close I can see dropped jaws and bulging eyes. The car brakes to stop. The driver's side door flies open and one of the officers jump out. The other officer, a skinny young guy, follows suit, but he looks annoyed. What are you doing, he says. Don't be a hero. We could have stayed in the car where it's safe. I'm looking, says the driver into the radio receiver, at a gorilla and an elephant, and the gorilla has a tiny dog on his shoulder, and no, I have not been drinking. They said the park got hit by the tornado, says the skinny officer, carefully aiming his pistol. We can't exactly shoot a gorilla, the driver says, and I like the way she's thinking. Try me. What's his crime exactly? Jaywalking? Thing is, I love elephants, says the driver. My daughter collects stuffed elephants. I mean, stuffed toys, not stuffed real ones. She listens to her radio for a moment. Get animal control out here, says the skinny officer. Get a van, get a moving truck, get a 747, I don't care. Ivan, I whisper in his ear, this does not looking good. You and Ruby gotta stay put. Don't make any sudden moves. No funny business, okay? These guys are freaking out. Ivan sits down on the ground. Slowly, very, very slowly, Ruby settles next to him. The driver smiles. Aw, that's so cute. Skinny officer nods. Yeah, in a deadly kind of way. I gotta do this, I say to my friends. If you stay calm, they won't mess with you. But Bob, worry clouds Ivan's face. You need us. What I need is for you to stay alive, I reply. I can see he isn't going to listen to reason, so I try a different approach. Ivan, I say, it's like this. Boss is my sister. I let her down once, and now, well, I have a second chance. I'll explain it all later. I need to do this. Ivan looks at the officers, guns drawn, then nods. You're the one and only Bob, he says. You got this, pal. I leap into the air and into the vast unknown, just like Kimu did. Well, maybe not quite so elegantly, but I do my best. Title, Lightning and Fireworks. It isn't far to the bridge, but far is relative when the wind is blowing down houses like the big bad wolf. I watch a stop sign fly past. I navigate around trees scattered like popsicle sticks. I keep an eye out for gators and pythons. Lightning strikes a tree. I brace for the thunder. It shakes the earth, the air, my teeth, my bones. A branch falls on a power line. Sparks dance like fireworks. I hate fireworks. I move with more care after that. I know enough to stay away from down power lines thanks to the Weather Channel and storm chasers. Man, I love TV. I'd give anything to be watching it from my nice cozy bed right about now. Good thing I know where the bridge is. My swollen nose throbs. What's the point of owning the top of the line sniffer if it's not working, right? When I pass a bird's nest on the ground, I offer to help the owner, Ajay. She swears at me. At least I think she does. I hear nuts and some other interesting words. I tend to forget that in some circles, dogs are considered predators. I wonder how Kimu and the other escapees are doing. One thing I know for sure, having been on the inside and outside, is that way too much of the world ain't made for wild animals. How would a meerkat cross a highway? How would a panther face down a city block? How would a wolf survive in an encounter with a gun? For that matter, who do I think I am playing hero? Nutwit was right. I'm soft. I'm slow. I'm not a street dog anymore. I'm a pampered, lazy pooch. I hear the rush of water, a different sound from the pouring rain, and out of nowhere, there it is, the creek. Boss mentioned that the car was near the bridge, but when I get close, I remember that what the officers said at the shelter. The bridge had collapsed, and then I see it. A little car, round top, floating caught in a dislodged tree at the edge of the roaring creek, not far from the crumbled remains of the bridge. And on top of that car, even though it's completely impossible, is a puppy waiting. And all I can think is, that dog is a nincompoop.